You're on Deck with Lucy. This show is all about the three T's of New York: the talent, the trends, and the taste.
She may sound like she's British, but she's really from the Bronx. The accent is a fake. I'm Perez Hilton, and you're on Deck with Lucy.
Hey guys, you're on Deck with Lucy, a show that covers the three T's of New York: the talent, the trends, and the taste. So in the first season, a few people said to me, why the three T's? What is this 3T thing about? Well, I'll tell you. As you can tell, I'm not from this city, I'm not from this country, but since living here in New York, my whole lifestyle has revolved around those three T's: the talent, the trends, and the taste. So why not make a show about it, right? Here in the second season, we are going to attend some star-studded events, meet some incredible people, and you guys get to be on deck with us throughout the whole thing. Each episode has a theme, and I thought, you know what? We'll kick off this season with something that every New Yorker loves. What is that? Fashion. I know I'm obsessed with it. So when I got invited to cover NOLSHA Fashion Week, I thought, oh my God, this is amazing, I'm so excited, and then I started to get scared. How do you stay fashionable for a full week around all of those fashionable people? Well, I think I managed it. Let me know what you think. Take a look at our trend segment.
Singing my song when a man came along, said he liked the sound of my voice.
I told you I changed like Superwoman. You see how quick I did that? All right, so we're ready. You're looking fabulous and chic. Gotta get your number one thing in first. Yeah, that's right. Get your cocktail in. And now I'm going to be taking you to Fashion Week. So the three things that you need to take with you are, number one, sunglasses. I know, it doesn't matter that the runway is happening inside. People are rocking those shades like no tomorrow. It's as though the fashion is so sparkly that they are so amazed they need those shades on. So pack your sunglasses. The next thing that you're going to need is a big fashionista hat. Again, I know we're indoors, but they're rocking those hats. See, I can't wear a hat because the bangs, it just ruins them completely. So I'll just applaud everyone else wearing them. And the third thing you're going to need is your iPhone or your smartphone, because no one is taking pictures on their camera anymore. Everyone's like this. They're looking at the fashion. Oh my God, let's tweet, tweet, tweet. Oh my God, Instagram. That's how it's running. So pack your smartphone, pack your shades, and what was the other thing that I just completely forgot? The fabulous hat, and you're all ready. Take a look at the highlights from Fashion Week.
So where do we begin? Cause all I see is these stars and all these bright lights, but you ain't there in the end. I want you to lie to me and tell me you love me, that you don't care about these other girls, and that you trust me. Lie to me and tell me that you don't hate me. What's in the past is in the past, and you already forgave me.
So guys, you can tell that you don't need to spend like a diva in order to be a fashionista. You just need to think like a designer. Stay tuned for part 2 when we talk about the talent during Fashion Week.
My worries are swallowed in the waves, torn by the riptide from my mind. Water crashes against me, breaking the divide. Funny how things go, not everything will float. Fear sinks to the sand as I
Hey guys, so we covered the trends, now it's time to talk about the talent. I got to get on deck with an incredible designer where I got a front row seat at his fashion show. In fact, everyone got a front row seat. How did that happen? Take a look. We are here with the designer, the mastermind behind the whole process, Neil Latte. Neil Latte, thank you for joining us. What inspired you to create this arena so that we can see the collection that's going to take place?
My idea is based on 12th century Japan, and the idealism that is behind the order of the court, which has to do with using attire to establish your station. You know, so basically what you wear tells me what kind of rank you have, you know? And so taking that idea and turning it inside out in the sense that your inner vision is your outer exhibition, right? So we're taking how a person might feel from inside and bringing it on the outside so they can wear it.
I love that.
You know, so that's the idea. And then the idea of transparency is also very big in this collection.
That is a great mindset there on how we try and incorporate trends. It's through our inner self. What do you hope that people take away from this? Because I know there's such a buzz out there. They're all excited to see your clothes. What do you hope they take away?
Well, I hope that they take away the very idea of human dignity, which is behind what I do. I believe that we as human beings are very beautiful creatures, in that if we can celebrate that every day through the way we appear in public, and through the way we offer ourselves to life, I think will be amazing.
I agree. Now, our show is all about highlighting the 3 T's of New York: talent, trends, and taste. This is obviously a big trend taking place right now.
Right.
In your opinion, how would you define trend?
That's a good question. Trend, wow. That's a very good question. I think that trend is always tied to spirituality. You know, whether it's coming, whether one is aware of it or not, it comes from inside, right? So it's something that prompts a collective of people or a single individual to come up with something that everybody sort of kind of is in tune with. Then a trend starts, right?
I love it. I'm going to go back to my closet and be like, how is this a trend? How can I get this from the latte into my own clothes?
Well, one of the things that I address is the idea of irregularity in life. You know, irregularity as a pattern that you can use to create regularity. You know, so in the sense that we all have irregular lives, but in that irregular life, there's a pattern. That pattern, you're the center of that pattern.
We're all centers of the pattern. I love it. Well, what I like most of all right now is that everyone gets a front row seat. That's unheard of at New York Fashion Week.
Well, that's awesome. That's what I like.
So we don't want to keep them waiting. We're going to get ready for your fashion show. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Now, when we're talking talent, we obviously think about the designers and the models, but sometimes we forget about the brains behind it all. Let's take a look at our interview as we got on deck with Alison Roy Campbell, one of the organizers of Knowleshire Fashion Week.
I close my eyes.
We're at N Brasserie right now in another private dining room area with the lovely, gorgeous Alison Campbell-Roy, who is a PR agent from AMP3 Public Relations. Alison, thank you so much for joining us today.
Me.
Now, we were lucky enough to sample the Neo Dandy fashion show which you organised.
Yes.
How was that different to other events that you organise at your PR agency?
It was a very non-traditional show, and that was the intention of the designer. He really wanted to do something that wasn't just a straightforward catwalk runway show. So that was sort of on us to come up with. And when he started talking about the inspiration of his new collection, we found out that it was 12th century Japan. So instantly we started thinking, okay, you know, we need something Japanese inspired in New York City, and we found this restaurant.
And it's beautiful, and the whole runway show was amazing. Everything was perfect, seamlessly beautiful, and you did such an incredible job.
Thank you.
The life of a PR agent, to me, has always been such a glamorous thing. Is it as glamorous as we think it is? Like, what's your daily life like as a PR agent?
Well, PR is really a lifestyle. I don't really think of what I do as a job, because you kind of have to be accessible to your clients 24/7. If there's breaking news, you know, if there's some sort of PR catastrophe, then, you know, you have to be on board if it doesn't fall within, you know, 9 to 5. So it's definitely high-paced. It's busy. I would say the only downfall is that it can be very stressful. But it's also glamorous. You get the fun perks. It's, you know, you're working on a fashion show. You're working with restaurants. You're working with celebrities. So I think the thrill and the adrenaline makes up for a lot of the stress.
And you are definitely a great representation of a glamorous PR agent, so we're very lucky to have you on deck. In your opinion, throughout Fashion Week, you help organize the spring fashion show, the fall fashion show here in New York City. Why is fashion show different to any other fashion week any different to any other city here in America?
I would probably say Fashion Week in New York City is unique because it's really one of the fashion capitals of the world. And what I think is exciting is that it's not just about the designers and the people in the industry. It feels like the whole city really gets involved in Fashion Week, which I think is unique to some of the international cities where, you know, the consumer gets to take part in something like Fashion's Night Out, or maybe some of the fabulous after parties that are happening at the nightclubs around the city. So I feel like everyone kind of puts on their fashion best that week, whether they're in the industry or not. So for that reason, it's really exciting.
Well, this was my first Fashion Week, and I loved it. All of the different events, especially the ones that AMP3 organized, they were amazing. And you'll be able to see more of them here at On Deck. Alison, when it comes to trends, I'm sure that you're you're an expert of these things. What trends did you see throughout Fashion Week, and do you see taking place this year?
I think that black and white was huge on the runway, which is always a good thing. But more so than that, a trend that I've noticed really taking over in New York is that it's not all about the tents. You know, it's not all about Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week. That's always the focal point, and certainly still is. But I'm noticing a lot more independent shows crop up around the city. And so that was a lot of fun to see sort of what these, you know, up-and-coming designers are seeing. And they're not necessarily following the same trend stories that everyone in the, you know, the sort of the more corporate side of the industry is following. They're really kind of creating their own takes on what's stylish. So things like Nolce Fashion Week, Small Boutique Fashion Week, Indie Fashion Week. There's all these different things starting to really take place in the city. And I think it's cool. It's like a sort of an incubator for independent fashion designers. So it's almost like we're creating that new generation. And I think it's really exciting.
And I love that, especially for On Deck, because we're really focusing on giving people an opportunity, no matter where they are, talent, trends, or tastes, really highlighting their talent. So that's a great answer there, Alison. Good job. When it comes to taste, and we've got to go because they're setting up here at En Brasserie, but when it comes to taste, especially during Fashion Week, where should a fashionista be seen tasting in New York?
Well, one of my most favorite restaurants in the city is called Freeman's.
Okay.
And it is cool because you really only know it's there if you know it's there. It's down an obscure alley off of Rivington Street called Freeman's Alley. And you have to walk all the way to the end, and it looks really sketchy and terrifying, and like you shouldn't be walking down there in the dark by yourself.
Alison, do we want to go there?
So when you get to the end, it's this beautiful little cottage, and it's 2 levels, and the food is is mostly all locally grown, organic. It's amazing. I love it for the whole experience. The wine list is amazing. The food is amazing. You can kind of go there and spend the whole evening. It's not just a quick meal. And the people watching there is really fantastic. So I go for the people watching.
And that's something we all love to do here in New York because there's so many different people to see. And that was a great sort of suggestion because now you guys watching On Deck, you'll know it's Freeman's, right?
Yeah, it might not be a secret anymore.
That's what I'm saying. But that's okay. We like it. We'll keep it amongst ourselves. Alison, thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you later. So we better get some food here now.
Trying to be the savior as a fall behind.
So guys, we covered the trends, the talent. What's the other T? The taste. Stay tuned for part 3 because I'm going to tell you where to eat during Fashion Week. That's right, we need to eat. Even though it's talking fashion, we still get hungry. Stay tuned and thanks for being on
You
Deck.
got style. You follow all the trends. And everyone knows your name. Maybe you've been noticed, made $1 or $2. But have you ever sang someone their last song? Have you ever sang someone their last song? Sang the final melody.
Hey guys, we covered the trends and the talent during Fashion Week. Now it's time to talk about the taste. Where do you go during Fashion Week? You want to be in a fashionable place. You want to eat without having the food belly, so you need something light and chic. I think I found just the place. Check out my interview at En Brasserie.
Every time you come around, finding new ways to push me down.
We are on deck with Trevor Stevens here at En Brasserie, and we're here in the exclusive private dining room. Thank you so much for inviting us. What's it like organizing events here at En Brasserie?
It's fun. It's time consuming, and you really have to pay attention to the individual guest needs and responses. Usually here we do all different events, so from anything from 10 people to we have something coming up in the next couple days for 120 people. So depending on what they want, you really have to focus in and kind of put them first for it.
And we've seen you guys do that with the Neo Dandy show. You definitely transformed this restaurant. And I want to know, why is En Brasserie different to other Japanese restaurants here in New York City?
Yeah, sure. There are a ton of Japanese restaurants in the city, and I think something that we do that's a little bit different is we really try to stick to an authentic experience. So, we want a guest to come in, and when they walk in, they're walking in from Hudson Street, and then they're getting transported to Japan. And, not every place does that. They throw their little tweaks in, and we try to stick to our guns in traditional kitchen and service.
Well, you can tell that from the decor here, and especially from what I've heard, that there's a special dish that you're very well known for called the freshly scooped tofu.
Yep.
What's the secret ingredient, Trevor?
Simplicity, I think, is what it is. I think that's the ingredient. It's premium, high-end quality things, and we don't try to do too much with it. We just try to keep it as simple as possible. And, sometimes the things that are most simple visually and what you think are really the most difficult things to create well.
Well,
what we try to do.
You're creating it well because it's very well known here, the tofu and all of your different dishes. When people come to En Brasserie, what sort of experience do you hope they take away from them?
Yeah. Well, kind of like what I said about we want a transportational experience is really what we focus in on here. So we want guests to really come in and visually be wowed a little bit by the place, and then obviously the service and the food that we provide. We really just want them to feel like, hey, this is just as good as when we were in Japan a year or two ago. And that's really what we want guests to take away.
Well, like I said, I've definitely taken that away from being here. But I will say one thing, Trevor. When I go to a Japanese restaurant, there is one thing that intimidates me. Can you guess what it is?
chopsticks.
Yeah.
So many people say it. So many people are like, wow, you're good with those things. I said, I have enough practice. So.
Well, good to know that you're good with them, because what is the secret? How are we supposed to use these? Obviously, we have to snap them first. But
Let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go.
Years of practice.
So take us through this, Trevor. When we come to En Brasserie, what's the first thing to do with the chopsticks? Snap them and
Snap
then...
them, number one. And then, if you've never done it before, I like to kind of think about holding it like a pencil.
Oh, okay.
Right? So you would normally hold it in your index and middle, drop it to your middle and what I'll call ring finger. And then it's simple as putting the top one on, and you move the top. And the bottom stays where it is, and it's a beautiful thing.
Have you explained this before? Because that was like an infomercial there, just how you did it.
Daily. It's the number one job responsibility, actually, is to tell people how to use chopsticks. So.
Well, thank you for explaining that. I'm sure the viewers love that, and now we can all dine here without asking for the fork. Before we end the interview, I know obviously this is where you work here at En Brasserie, but when you're walking around New York, are there other places that you like to sample the taste of New York?
Yeah, sure. So, I usually get out a little bit later than a regular lunch or dinner, and I usually stay within the neighborhood. So there's a place right up the road from us, Hudson Clearwater, that I go to quite a bit. They're great guys there, and the food is really good. The cocktails are great. I love Daddy-O's, which is just kind of a great bar. A lot of... great bar food, things like that. It's good late night. You have a beer or something along those lines. And then, if I want to start looking into something a little bit fancier, really treat myself or whoever I'm with, I love Le Bernardin. Is my favorite restaurant in the city. So he's amazing, and it's just a really great experience.
After En Brasserie, of course.
I have to rob a bank first, though. So,
That's true. And what's it like working in the food industry? Because this is a city that never sleeps. I'm sure you just said that you get out late.
Sure.
What is it like? Tell us.
It's great. This is what I've always done, and I love it. I'm a people person, so I like to deal with people, and, I'm the type of guy, I wake up thinking about what I'm going to eat and what I'm going to make and who I'm going to meet, and not so much, what stocks may be trading at what and what buildings are going to get acquired, but, so that's really what I love. So it's difficult, though. You have to kind of be on point for 12 hours a day because, the spotlight's always on you, as I'm sure you're aware of.
I don't know anything about that.
So it's tricky. It's grinding, but it's one of those things you either love it or you don't, and so I love it.
Well, we're so happy for you being on deck with us. Thank you so much. And guys, do check out En Brasserie. It's a great place. Awesome, awesome food, especially the freshly scooped tofu. Try saying that a few times. Anyway, you're on deck with Lucy.
Bye.
Hey guys, thank you so much for being on deck with us and going through the whole 3 T's during fashion. Stay tuned for episode 2 where we talk about fitness. Thanks for being on deck.
Love, I had seen it in your eyes, counting my blessings, burning your alibis. It was love, what a strange way to go. Killed you both, but still don't even know. Still don't even know. There's no hope for me. Found each other now. 2 of you just bleed. You remember when you felt safe in his arms. Times may come, but felt like you belonged. But I guess that you were wrong. I found myself tiptoeing towards your door. Singing out, why don't you love? high when you're always falling behind. And as he dies, she doesn't know what to say.